With where WandaVision leaves us off, there is a lot of questions of how exactly does this set up the future of the MCU. So let's take a look at that one by one and see exactly how it's going to affect multiple products coming at us over the next couple of years. So first up, let's do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So the first thing here to know is that there's not a whole lot of impact throughout the actual series itself, other than the fact that we see various different types of magic be used in the later half of the season. The establishment and the mention of the Darkhold in the last episode, the mention of chaos magic and what it means, and the most important scene, the post-credit scene, with Wanda looking into the Darkhold, trying to find a way to bring back her children, and Tommy screaming for help, clearly an indicator that Wanda has found them in some place in the multiverse, and she is going to use the dark magic to try to pull them from there, leading us into Doctor Strange. When something that bad happens, he's got to show up. So this is our direct lead-in into the Multiverse of Madness. Now the next one, and this one is a little bit hard to pinpoint because we know that Spider-Man No Way Home will be affected by the multiverse. They said this at the investors call. It's been confirmed by Kevin Feige and Sony. But how exactly? Because it would seem like you would have to have Doctor Strange happen first to explain the entire multiverse concept. You can't do that in a Spider-Man film unless Doctor Strange has a pretty substantial role, which would be interesting, but quite clearly the lead-in at the end of WandaVision also indicates an involvement of the multiverse when it comes to Spider-Man. Another big one is the Secret Invasion. Of course, we see that Monica has been contacted by a Skrull that is working with Nick Fury and Talos. Now, the end of this series is about 6 months before the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home. So she's probably already somehow controlling S.W.O.R.D. at a bigger level, I would assume, and they're more than likely already investigating whatever the Skrulls and Nick Fury are investigating that is going to lead into the Secret Invasion. Also, Captain Marvel 2. It's safe to assume Monica will have a pretty substantial role along with S.W.O.R.D. when it comes to Captain Marvel 2. Now, not only that, we know that she's being joined by Miss Marvel. My assumption would be that Monica shows up somewhere towards the second half of Miss Marvel and establishes that connection with them knowing each other, more than likely Monica investigating this Inhuman or whatever is going on with the Terrigen Mist or Terrigenesis. This leads them to sort of become a mentor slash partner, and then Captain Marvel shows up to set up the sequel. Also, there's Loki. Loki in some way, shape, or form, I think is going to have to touch upon some of these elements, because once you're messing with time and realities and all that, well, I mean, he's dealing with the Council of Kangs and the Time Variant Authority. Somewhere in here, something's gotta happen. And when Loki was originally announced, along with WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2 being a multiverse film, they said that Loki would connect to it, but they've since changed tone on this, so maybe it's going to happen in later seasons, but I'm definitely expecting some sort of connection. The Young Avengers, quite clearly, Tommy and Billy will probably be returning to be part of the Young Avengers. I mean, this just makes sense. This is your setup. It's literally your go-to. That's why they're there, and that's why we know they're developing the Young Avengers, because by the time they all assemble, there's going to be like 12 of them in a couple of years. So that is it. That is effectively all we know. Now, I would touch upon Quicksilver and mutants here, but honestly, I don't think there is too much, unless Quicksilver is somehow a mutant, because they never explain how he got his powers. So, maybe.